1805 or 6 and landed in the Okeechobee River. And he come on south as far as Palm Valley. He started looking at some land to buy. And when he started to build, he stayed here, and that they called the way he built was 20 miles. That's why the government gives you property to stay in at certain areas in the states, coming from other countries. And he married. I got it all wrote on a paper, and I can't find the paper. So I'll read it off the family tree. No, I got it. Stratton Stratton wanted to come from Berlin, Germany, and he come to South Carolina and married and a girl by the name of Catherine J. Michler, and they lived in Palm Valley, and what they call it 20 Mile. Everything come from St. Augustine. St. Augustine is one of the oldest cities in the United States. And whenever you leave 20 Mile, you come north, and you come by a swamp. It's 12 miles from St. Augustine, so they call it 12 Mile Swamp. And 12 Mile Swamp, about a quarter mile where it crosses US 1, there were people lived there by Bartlett, so they call it the old Bartlett Base. And about 3 miles east of that, towards the Palm Valley Bridge, was a bunch of bears lived in a den, and they called that Snowden Bay. And the bears stayed there pretty much year round, but in the wintertime, there wasn't nothing for them to eat. And I'll tell you why it was about early 20s, the government gave my daddy, Rufus Stratton, a permit to check on the hogs to see why they were dying. And they kept getting less and less hogs in the county. So he gave my father from the 9 Mile Road South, which is now called the International Parkway Golf Course or something like that. It used to be the 9 Mile Road. And they gave him from the 9 Mile Road south to town, and all the way where it went across and come into the State Road, or State Road 16, all the way around, all the way back to the inland waterway that comes from Palm Valley. And when you come from Palm Valley, the reason it wasn't an inland waterway all the way to Miami, because there were a lot of places that the creeks would be dry, and you had to come on a high tide, and when you get past Palm Valley, about 8 to 10 miles, there's a place they call Pine Island, and Pine Island cut the travel off of boats and big boats and yachts. They couldn't go through it. So in the 30s, the government gave them a dredge to come start dredging out the rivers, and they started what's that way coming in the inlet up at Jacksonville with Mayport. They started at Mayport, come west, and it was a river, a deep river. But before you got to Palm Valley, there was a lot of little places that were narrow, and no big boats could come on, little rowboats. So the government got a dredge. They started dredging out the river in 1930s. And one of my cousins, well, I'll go back to when they come in. I'm jumping ahead of my story. In the 1867, Mr. Frederick O. Stryker decided he'd go down to Lake Astor Park, where it was. He went down there and stayed for a year. Decided that wasn't no place for him. He liked salt water better. They had St. John going through Astor Park, but it was fresh water. So he moved back up to the old place, which was 20 miles. And he had one son, his name was Jacob Ostriker. And Jacob Ostriker was born in 1923 and lived till 1872. He had a son named Thomas Ostriker. Thomas Ostriker is what all those strikers come from back in the early days, that they come from Germany on this particular family of those strikers. And Thomas Ostriker had 9 kids, 5 boys and 4 girls. And the kid's name, the oldest one, was Dora. And she was born in 1882. Then she had another son, his name was Jacob. They named him Jacob Ostriker. He was born in 1893. And I had another one named Clarence Ostriker. He was born in 1885. And Thomas Ostriker, he was born in 18... Oh, I've got it all. Let me see. It's on this dollar, on this family tree. It's so small, I can't read it. But anyhow, with the 9 kids, he had 4 girls and 5 boys. And it turned out, when he come back to Palm Valley, he went to 20 Mile Road. He cut down a bunch of trees and split them up and built him a house. He had to do all that before he could build it. There wasn't no sawmills or nothing around back at that time. So he built his own house out of trees and stuff. And while they were living there, the Catholics needed somebody to cut palms for Palm Sunday. Palm Sunday is a week before Easter. And they asked Uncle Jake if he would cut palms and buds for the Catholics of Palm Valley. And I think that's where Palm Valley got its name from to start with. There were a bunch of palm trees here in Palm Valley, so they call it Palm Valley. They cut the buds out of the top and use that for Palm Sunday. They give you 3 or 4 little leaves off of it for Palm Sunday. Everybody go to church on Palm Sunday. They give you 3 or 4 little leaves off of the palm. And they also done the same way with palmettos. They grow a shoot out of the middle, and they'd split that up, and there'll be a bunch of palms off of the palmettos. So they call them, there were so many palm trees, I think that's the reason they call it Palm Valley, located all around here. Well, in Palm Valley, about 2 miles southwest of the Palm Valley Bridge, was a place called Snowden Bay. And the bears lived in Snowden Bay almost a year round. And all of a sudden, while the hogs were disappearing, Papa made a trap pen and caught them for 1 year and looked at it and see why they were dying. And it was full of ticks and lice. So old Tommy used to burn the woods off, killing the ticks and lice. They burned a section this year, another section next year, to burn it all off and not control it. They burn it where they control it, where it goes to swamp and die out. So when they found out the bears, they come to the trap box built, and there were bear tracks all around the pen. And the hogs get caught in the pen, they see blood and stuff in there, and the hogs get in the pen and eat the hog. The bears would get in the pen and eat the hogs. So, and a bunch of little shoats thing outside the pen, he found blood and stuff all around the pen where the bears would eat them too. So I asked the commissioners, could he kill the bears? He said, yeah, if that's what's killing out the hogs, it's that and the screwworms are killing the hogs. So he asked him, could he kill the bears? He said, yes, and they gave him permission to kill the bears. That's why the bears were hunted in St. John County back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. And he had permission when he started catching a hog all the way, like I say, from the 9 Mile Road south to a town, to St. Augustine, and 16 all the way to the Hammond Waterway. Well, He done that for several years and catching them at my older brother's job when we had to go pick up slop in the morning to get up at 4 o'clock. We had to go pick up slop from houses. We left buckets to around what we call the Horn Road. We go from Florida Avenue to Massey Drive and pick up a 5-gallon bucket, 2, 3 5-gallon buckets on Massey Drive, go to King Street and pick up some slop there, go to Mallory Street and then pick up there, go to San Marco, pick up all the way to State Road 16, cross to San Marco, and go across State Road 16, across the bridge and to Massey Drive and come back home. We'd be home just in time to clean up and go to school. So we call that the Horn Road, going around the Horn, but from where we lived on Florida Avenue, around Massey Drive, King Street, Mallet, and State Road 16, back down Massey Drive, and then we were home. We call that going around the Horn. And every day we had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go pick up garbage. In the afternoon we got out of school, we had to go dump the garbage. So, in the afternoon, my older sister, told Papa, said, well, you do milk cow, milk you. And we have fresh milk. So he bought a milk cow. And my sister milked it for 2 weeks. They asked me, you want a milking, Bubba? Yeah, I was all interested. I seen him squeezing the cow, getting milk out of it, fresh milk. I thought that was something. So I milked it for a week. And my sister told my daddy, Bubba wants to milk the cow. Can I quit? She said, yeah. That was added on to my job, taking care of the cow, milking her twice a day, and getting hogs, feeding them, and go dump it out in the afternoon. One morning, I went down Massey Drive, there was ice all over the place, and I picked up a 5-gallon bucket full of slop and tried to put it in a 55-gallon barrel we had. I think I was 12 years old. Just I got to the top of the barrel, it slipped off of the barrel, went over my head, and it went all over me. I stunk like swill. Until all we had was the corn sack to wipe it off. So I walked with my shit, I couldn't get off, and I was still grease all over me. So we got home, Mama took a clean towel. We didn't have no hot water back then. All we had was a fire, a heater, a jumbo heater to heat with, and a big old cook stove with a wood stove. We used the wood for cooking and in my job, I had another one. I had to cut up all the wood that Papa did. I had another job for me. And I just kept getting one job on top of the other. Finally, when I went to school, I smelled like a swill pot. And the girl didn't care that much about me because I stunk all the time. And the morning I dumped that stuff over me, I had about 6 little kids when I go there to school going to jump on me and rash me. Well, they didn't care if I stunk. They jumped on me anyhow. And I wouldn't hurt none of them. I was strong as a little gorilla when I was young. And I wouldn't hurt nobody.
Still are.
I was strong enough. I found out about 2 months ago why I was so strong while I was young. And the good Lord made me that way to help all them little kids in school. That big bullies wouldn't hurt them. And when we had in the 4th grade, we had a boy come in with a leg cut off. His name was Sherman Henson. And boys would go up there and grab his leg and run with it. He'd go to crying because he couldn't walk without that. He was in the sawmill and had his leg cut off above his knee. So I'd run him down, take the leg away from him, tell the boys, the bullies, that if you do it again, I'm going to slap you. I was afraid to hit him. I might break a bone when I was so strong when I was little. And they quit, and others do the same thing. Finally, they quit taking his peg leg from him, because they were all afraid of me. I was stronger than I, and Lord, I said, Lord made me strong when I was growing up. I took care of little kids, that's in the Bible.
So I'm going to announce food and then we'll be back.
Okay.